Right, Sunday morning and ready to go out for a ride. And I'm going out on the Commando. To be honest, I'm going on the Commando because it's the bike nearest the door in the garage. And this summer has been weird. You know, I've not been out on one of the bikes for a good month, I'd say, probably longer than that. The weather's been poor this August, but also one thing or another, I've been away weekends and this, that and the other, and so I've just not been able to get out for a ride. It's Bank Holiday Sunday today, so not my favourite day for going out because it's always busy, but you know, you got to take, I can't go next weekend and so on and so on, and so, you know, next thing I know it'll be October because we're going away for we're going away for 3 weeks in September. Anyway, so unfortunately I've just heard that the local motorcycle show at Bakewell has been cancelled due to travellers. The travellers have arrived on site. You know, it's a big showground there and all these travellers have turned up and they've had to cancel it for safety concerns, which is a pain. A lot of bikes had arrived already, you know, and started setting up. Anyway, so we're off out for a ride. We're on the Commando. This is Norton 850 Mark III, 1975. So as it's a Mark III, we've got things like electric start. The disc brake is on the left. Earlier disc brakes were on the right. I'm not quite sure why. I imagine it's something to do with American legislation, but I don't know why they moved it. Also, of course, we've got left-hand gear change. And yeah, sorry, so ham cam filter, because it looks like an old kind of ham spam, and so that is actually cut down. It's only sort of 2/3 width, so that it fits, and you just have to fit a slightly different battery tray, an earlier battery tray, and then that bolts onto it. And I think it looks so much better than those massive Mark III air filters, which are completely unattainable, by the way. And I found out, I think later, that I think it's RGM actually make I had to cut mine down, but RGM actually make one that's already cut down specifically for this, I believe. Yeah, it's tri-spark electronic ignition, what do you call it, a glass mat battery, which is great. Oh yeah, the starter motor is obviously upgraded now. The Triumph Tridents had the starter motor works much better, and that's a 4-brush starter motor. Now on the Commando they had a 2-brush, I think, yeah, 2-brush starter motor, I think it is, or was it 3 anyway, but less, and just that's one reason why they're not as powerful, plus the fact they've got this huge thing lump to turn over. Anyway, I've upgraded it to 4-brush starter, and that's made all the difference, and with a big battery and with new big powerful electric cables, it works great. I mean, one thing for us, I mean, just one simple thing on the Commando electric start is they have very thin cables going to the starter, and they simply just can't carry enough current. They're just too thin. So simply just by upgrading the cables, that makes a massive difference in upping the power to the starter motor. But it's been working fine. 4-brush conversion. You can also actually just convert the whole, just buy a whole new starter motor, more powerful, and just bolt it on, because they just bolt on with 3 bolts. Yeah, apart from that, oh yeah, and had it all resprayed, obviously. Norton, in as far as near as we could get to Norton colours, because I think all the factory records for what the colours actually were have been destroyed, and I believe so. And so there is no actual record of what the colours were. So you get the colour as near you can to a factory original, whatever colour you like. So I think this is near to the Norton red as I think there was, this is I think actually a Honda colour, as I remember. Yeah, so that's one oddity. And then we've got the Mark III. Oh yes, I've got an oil pressure gauge fitted to mine, which I fitted in the headlamp. because of course one warning light you don't have on a Commando is an oil pressure warning light. You do on a Trident. You do have an ignition warning light, tells you not charging, but there's nothing to tell you whether you've got oil pressure or not. So I wanted to fit an extra warning light, but it would be a bit awkward. So the easiest thing was to actually fit an oil pressure gauge. So I've done that, and it's fitted in the headlamp after a fashion. It doesn't go all the way in, despite my best efforts. Damn, I've got something in my boot now. Let's hope it's not a wasp. I have to take my boot off again in a minute. And these are the I've got the French. I can never remember the name of them. These are when they made the Mark III, it was it was potluck which tacho and speedo you had. There was two different makes. I can never remember the name. Anyway, these are the French ones, and you cannot recondition them in any way. So normally when I rebuild a bike, I zero the speedo, but the mileometer, but I haven't been able to in this case. But they work okay. But they just got this weird, long, extended casing, which they look okay. I've polished mine up, but I might go back to fitting some more, what I would consider nicer looking, more classic looking cases and dials at some point. Okay, Coke, I think that's about it. So let's get off for a ride. Right, so here we are, first sandwich stop. Bike is going really, really well. I'm really chuffed. Yeah, no problems at all. No problems at all, so really good. A couple of things I forgot to mention, stainless steel spokes and stainless steel rims as well, by the way. I try and get everything stainless steel if I can, but it's not cheap. But yeah, I don't think I've got any problems. I've just noticed one very, very small problem that I do have when I went to fill up with petrol. Any chip. It's when you open this corner, just catches there. Sorry, just there. Yeah, thank you. Right, bacon sarn is ready, so I'm off. So back from our little ride out, which was particularly nice. Yeah, it wasn't a great day in terms of weather, but I had a really good ride. So that's what it's all about. So really pleased. I mean, the bike's going so well. I must say I'm really impressed. You know, I mean, I rebuilt it a couple of years ago, and 3 years ago now, probably, I don't know. But yeah, I've not really done anything to it since. Just tighten the odd thing up here and there, and it's just going really well. So of course, I've not done huge distances at prolonged speeds. I wouldn't like to think what happened to most of my bikes wouldn't like prolonged distances at high speed. But I don't sort of just look after it, and I ride it as it's meant to be ridden. And it's great. I mean, and what do I like most about this bike? What I love most about this bike, well, to begin with, I like the sound. It's got a really lovely deep bark to it. It probably doesn't come over on the video because they have some suppressors or something on the sound. I know they do. So it doesn't matter. You can start it up and that, but it never comes across. But believe me, the sound is incredible on this bike. It's got pea shooters that aren't standard. Maybe that's something to do with it, I don't know. But it's got a really nice deep bark to it. Etc., handling and so on. But what I love the most is the torque. Because I've got Tridents. I've got 2 Tridents and I love them. But they do kind of thrive on revs. Whereas the Commando, it's just got so much grunt. When I rebuilt it, I thought, well, it's only got 4 speed, still only got 4 gears. I mean, this is, it's 1975. Even the Trident, they had 5 gears by then, and most bikes had 6, like the Kawasaki. They had 6 gears. So this still only had 4. And I thought, wow, what's that? But it's got so much torque that you don't need more than 4 gears because it'll pull it. Even if you're accidentally in top, well, at low speed, it will just pull away. It's amazing grunt to it. The Tridents and that, unless they're, I wouldn't say revving high, but they need a good few revs to get going. Whereas this, it'll just pull, just incredible torque, and I love that because it's quite a lazy way of riding. You don't have to do that much gear changing. You can just and just pull it out or pull out of whatever in a relatively high gear. You don't have to do a load of cog swapping. Yeah, and I love the electric start. I do. I have to say I'm getting a bit lazy in my old age, and I do just, by the time I've got all my gear on and everything, and you get on the bike, you're pretty exhausted then, getting all your clobber on and everything, getting the bike out, then to be kicking it over, oh, what? So I must say I do like the electric start, and yeah, it's a definite plus for me. Yeah, but it's all going well, touch wood, and you know, it doesn't leak oil and goes really well, and I'm really pleased. One other advantage, and I don't know why this is, I really don't, over the Tridents, is that these both have, my Tridents and this both have new Amal Premier carburetors on, right? But this, well, just let me zoom, yeah. For some reason, this bike will start much more easily than the Tridents. Now, I don't know why, but let's say when this is warm, you can leave it for, you know, an hour or so, and you don't need to tickle the carbs, get on it, press the button, off it goes. The Tridents, they'll start okay, but when it's warm, you can leave it just for like, you know, a couple of minutes, the Tridents, get back on, try and start, and it won't start. You've got to tickle the carbs. It will not take, they won't, neither of them will take standing when hot, and then you tickle them. And I really, you know, they're both Amal carbs. To be honest, if anything, this, in theory, I think this should be harder because it's got these really long inlet manifold. Whoops, my finger's a bit big, I've lost it, there it is. Those big long inlet manifolds there that sort of curve round. I thought they might be a problem on, you know, for the carbs, but you know, I don't understand it, because I can't work out why this should be. This will start when it's warm straight away, and the Tridents don't want to know unless you tickle the carbs. But exactly the same carbs, both bikes. I don't know, but there you go. That's one thing. Another thing I love about this, you can get on it when it's warm and it's been standing a few minutes, you've had your coffee or whatever, get on it, press the button, bang, boom, and off you go. Okay, there we go. Another ride. Where are we now? End of August now already. And so then I'm off on a holiday for 2 weeks next week, which I'm not complaining about, but you know, it means I won't be able to ride for another 2 weeks. So hopefully end of September we'll have some good weather again, and I'll get out again. And I'll actually try and go out on one of the other bikes. I haven't been out on the T1. The T160 is the back of the garage, as it were. And that's why I haven't been out on it for a while, because I've got to move all the other three out of the way to get to that one. So I really must make the effort when I get back. I'm going to get the T160 Trident out, and we'll go out on that. Because I haven't been out on it much, simply because it's the bike's furthest away. I think, oh, I can't be bothered to move everything round. Okay, there we go. Good ride out today.